morning, everyone, and welcome to today's assembly. So today's assembly is all about one of our core values, being unusually brave. It is Tuesday, the 19th of January, and it is so lovely to see you all here. Now, we're going to start the assembly today by asking you, what does it mean to be unusually brave? What does it mean to be unusually brave? So any words that come to mind when we're thinking about being unusually brave, there is a Slido poll that I would like you to have a look at. So the code is in the top right-hand corner now, or on the next slide. If you scan that QR code, what does being unusually brave mean to you? So we've got a QR code in the top right-hand corner, and on the next slide here, if you cue that, scan that QR code, what does being unusually brave mean to you? So you've got a few minutes now. Send in any words. What does it mean to you, being unusually brave? Okay, and I can see courageous. A few people have got that. Fearless, brave, taking a risk, being daring. Any words? What comes to mind when we say being unusually brave? Facing your fears, amazing, being hardworking, being strong, being extraordinary, amazing, fearless again. Lots of people saying fearless. We've got not being afraid, confident, courageous. Oh, fantastic, guys. Courageous is a strong one, being strong. Whilst we've got being independent, being hardworking. Fantastic, working out of your comfort zone. Lots of people trying hard. These are amazing, doing what's unexpected. Amazing, guys. Being selfless, being different. Bexleyheath Academy in there. Doing the right thing, being outside your comfort zone, not being afraid. These are all fantastic. That's great. Doing your best, not being afraid, being outgoing, trying new things. Really, really great. Standing up to others. And there's a lot of that. And we've been thinking today about what being unusually brave means to us. So there's some great ideas coming through. We've been thinking about it and how being unusually brave can be displayed in so many different ways. So someone who is not afraid to believe the unimaginable, which is what a lot of you have said, to expect the most of yourself and set yourself challenging goals and targets. So things like working outside your comfort zone, which you've said, being brave, taking a risk, that's all fantastic. We've also said it's someone who's not afraid to be patient. So when things don't go right, it's really easy to give up. But being unusually brave is being patient and keep on going and believing in yourself, which I've seen lots of you write as well. We've also said it's someone who's not afraid to stand up for what they believe in. And there's a lot of that you've written as well, standing up to others, doing the right thing. And that's exactly what it means to be unusually brave. And the last one we said is someone who's not afraid to ask for help. So no one does anything worthwhile just on their own. Even the most brilliant, visionary and famously talented people all worked as part of a team to achieve their success. So it takes courage to ask, can you help me? Because asking for help shows vulnerability, and that's really brave. Now, there are so many ways that you can be unusually brave, and today we're going to talk about 4 people who are unusually brave in very different ways. So I'm going to hand over now to Miss Peony, who's going to talk about our first famous person from history who has been unusually brave. So I'm going to hand over now to Miss Peony.
Okay, so the first person we're going to be looking at is someone you might not automatically associate with a person that's unusually brave, but I hope by the end of this you'll understand my point. So the first man we're going to be looking at is someone called Levi Roots. Levi is a Jamaican-born man who started his journey in the kitchen by helping his nan. She taught him everything he needed to know about Caribbean flavours. In the 70s, Levi moved to Brixton, and in his kitchen is where he began mixing and creating his reggae sauce, which I'm sure a few of you have heard of. Eventually, Levi started selling his sauce at Notting Hill Carnival, so he had a stall there and it was a massive hit. But Levi couldn't take his brand any further. He faced constant rejection. For 16 years, Levi faced rejection from the banks and business investors that wouldn't invest into his brand, and he was told that his product and its image wouldn't fit the norms of society. So this was mainly because of the cultural roots of the brand, which is why they wouldn't invest. But in 2006, Levi appeared on the show Dragon's Den, and despite his children begging him not to attend, Levi took the risk and he went on it. Now, for those who don't know what Dragon's Den is, it's a show in which business entrepreneurs, they'll explain their idea, so this could be a product or a service, and they'll explain it to some powerful dragons who will opt to invest into the idea or not. So when Levi was on the show, the source was an instant hit, and 2 dragons invested in his business, as well as immediately after the show, Sainsbury's agreed to stock the source in 600 stores. This turned his dreams into a reality. After this, Levi's success continued to grow, so he went into TV, he made books, but most importantly now, what he's doing is he's supporting and inspiring children all over the world, and he's trying to teach them one message, and that's to follow their dreams. So, although you might think that Levi is not our usual idea of someone that's unusually brave, he took risks which led him to become the success he is today. His family begged him not to go on Dragon's Den as he faced so many years of rejection and they didn't want it to happen again, but this time it'd be aired on TV for everyone to see. And I'm sure Levi himself too felt so far out of his comfort zone. Who wouldn't feel frightened going in front of those 4 powerful dragons? But Levi could have taken the easy route and he could have given up, but he didn't. So I've had to think about what key characteristics make him unusually brave. And a few that I've come up with is that he's a risk taker, he was passionate, he was motivated, he had the self-belief and the creativity. So how could this translate to your lives? I believe this could translate into your lives because I think listening to Levi's story, he tells us to take a chance, to always believe in yourself and to follow your dreams. And I think Levi's story teaches that everyone's had the confidence within yourself, and no matter what happens, do not give up. So over to you, Mr. Wells.
Brilliant. Cheers. Thank you, Miss. I'm just going to talk about 2 people here. On the left here, we have James Fitz, who was born 1788 in Gloucestershire. And on the right, you've got Margaret Keenan, who turned 91 this year. And we're going to talk about what connects these 2 people, because those 2 people were unusually brave, and unusually brave in the same way. They were both first persons in the world to take a vaccine. Next slide, please. But before we talk about these 2 people, we need to talk about smallpox. Now, smallpox was a highly infectious disease which caused vomiting before the body would break out into painful ulcers covering the skin. Though all ages could contract the disease, it was particularly prominent in children, and 30% of all who contracted the disease died. It was responsible for killing 300 million people in the 20th century. To put that into perspective, COVID has killed just 3.5 million, and smallpox was known for killing 300 million in the 20th century. So why don't we hear about smallpox anymore? Well, that is because of the bravery of this boy, James Fitz, and then millions of more people after him. In 1798, he was given the first controlled vaccine at age 8, when Dr. Edward Jenner injected him with a strand of cowpox. Cowpox was a variation of smallpox that was almost non-lethal to humans. Once James Fitz's body had fought off the cowpox, it then knew how to fight smallpox. So when Dr. Jenner returned 2 months later to expose young James to the highly contagious lethal smallpox, he was immune and did not develop any symptoms. After Dr. Jenner wrote up and published his findings, 100,000 people were vaccinated over the next 3 years. This continued, and more people were vaccinated all over the world, until something incredible happened, something the human race had never accomplished before. In 1980, the World Health Organization officially declared smallpox extinct. Due to the bravery shown by James Fitz and the millions of people vaccinated after him, smallpox was eradicated from the world, the first time the human race had fought as one and wiped out a disease from existence, all thanks to the amazing work of vaccines. So what does this all have to do with little old Margaret Keenan? Next slide, please. Well, Margaret was one of the first people in the world to officially receive a COVID vaccination on the 8th of December 2020. Already since then, 3.5 million brave people have followed in James Fitz's footsteps and have stepped up and volunteered to get the vaccination. So so that now more people have been vaccinated than have been tested. Eventually, all of us will have the opportunity to be unusually brave and receive our vaccine. I know the world seems dark at the moment in lockdown, and it seems like there's no light at the end of this tunnel, but I promise it will get better. Thanks to the bravery of the individuals administrating and taking the vaccine, meaning that one day the vaccine will soon spread faster than the virus, and life will begin to return to normal. And I hope, just like smallpox before it, we will one day be able to wipe this horrible virus from existence and declare it extinct, and be able to leave it in the history books where it belongs. Right, I'm going to pass over to Miss now.
So I'm going to be talking about today a person of history. Could we have the next slide, please? So today I'm going to be talking about Mother Teresa and how she was brave when in her younger years. So Mother Teresa is a Roman Catholic who devoted her life to serving the poor around the world. She left her family home to move far away to help poor individuals. Teresa did not follow in the same footsteps as people her age. She had a calling to go and make a difference. Teresa was very brave. So why was Teresa brave? So she was brave because she left her home at 18 to help the poor in India. She funded her own community. It was called the Missionary of Charity. Mother Teresa and her helpers built homes for orphans, nursing homes and hospices for the terminally ill. Her act of kindness at a young age shows that no matter who you are, you can make a difference to someone's life. Mother Teresa always put others before herself. She dedicated her life to people in need. So the characteristics of Mother Teresa are passionate, she was motivated, she had courage, kindness, self-belief, she was massively independent to leave home at the age of 18 and pursue her dreams. She was focused, she was a leader, and she was confident. So how can we translate this into your daily lives? So we can translate this to say that every day, be caring to the people around you, because if you do, it may change how someone feels that day. Mother Teresa's act of kindness and wanting to help others can also be compared to our NHS workers who are helping people every day at the moment and saving lives. I'm going to hand it back to Miss Doyle or Grace, Miss Peeney.
So back to me for our last famous character that we're going to talk about. So the final person we'll be looking today is Greta Thunberg. So Greta is a 17-year-old from Sweden who has become the face of climate change activism. So Greta began a global movement which started by her skipping school in August 2018, and she spent her days, you can see her there, camped out in front of the Swedish Parliament, holding a sign painted in black letters on a white background, which reads, "School Strike for Climate." So she was saying that all school-age children should strike school on a Friday for their belief in climate change, to start getting the Swedish Parliament to listen to their concerns. Now, this is where it started, but since then, she's addressed heads of state at the United Nations, she's met the Pope, she sparred with the President of the United States and inspired 4 million people to join the global climate strike on September the 20th in 2019, in what was the largest climate demonstration in human history. So she took the entire year off school in 2019 to continue campaigning, to attend key climate conferences and to join student protests around the world. So she travelled to New York to address a UN climate conference, and she refused to fly because of the environmental impact. So she made her way there on a racing yacht in a journey that lasted 2 weeks. When she arrived, millions of people around the world took part in the climate strike, underlining the scale of her influence. Addressing the conference, she blasted politicians for relying on young people for answers to climate change. She challenged them. How dare you? I shouldn't be up here. I should be in school on the other side of the ocean. Yet all of you come to us young people for hope. She was brave enough to challenge some of the most influential politicians and people in the world because of what she believed in. She is brave for standing up for that belief. And a lot of you said at the beginning, standing up for what you believe in, doing what is right. And against all the odds, she has managed to do this. So she was 16 when she started active and being around the world and making her point heard. And famous people such as David Attenborough has heralded her as one of the bravest young people in the world. She stood up for what she believed in, even when people have slated her. So Donald Trump has mocked her on Twitter. President Vladimir Putin of Russia has said she's kind but poorly informed, and this hasn't stopped her. So Greta believed the unimaginable and has pushed politicians who are in positions of great power to drive change. Greta is also Aspergic and has spoken publicly about how she's had to overcome many obstacles to fight what she believes in. She finds large crowds really challenging, but as you can see, she's overcome this fear because it's what she believes in. And if you have a look on the next slide, she's gone to Twitter and said that she's not been public about her diagnosis. Many ignorant people still see it as an illness or something negative. And she said, when the haters go after your looks and differences, it must mean they have nowhere left to go, and then you know you are winning. So she's been incredibly brave, and she is an inspiration to us all for something that she really believes in. So how can this relate to you? So you might not be able to attend the UN, you might not be able to travel around the world and lead global protests. However, you can stick up for what you believe in and believe the unimaginable. Anything is possible if you believe in it. And don't let anything hold you back or limit your potential. I'm going to hand over now to Miss Peony.
So the key messages we hope you take away from the assembly today are: being unusually brave can take many different forms. Although you may have thought that being brave could mean being physically strong, as we've seen today, this is not always the case. The amazing people we've heard about are from different parts of the world, different cultures, backgrounds, religions, and races, but they're all brought together by one key characteristic: being unusually brave. So why is it important? Being unusually brave means that despite potential setbacks and some inevitable failures along the way, with passion and determination, you are able to unlock your unusually brave characteristics. And with that, you can achieve anything. So back to you, Miss Doyle.
Thank you very much. So we hope today that we have inspired you guys to be unusually brave in your lives, and any little change. And looking back to what we started at the beginning, there are some amazing things that you've put up onto that. Some words, some of the biggest ones are being strong, being confident, trying hard, being fearless, never giving up. And there are so many ways you can be brave in your online lessons as well as in your everyday life. So we hope that today we have inspired you. And from me, a few last safety messages for you. So Miss, if you go on to the last slide for us. So please remember to keep safe. Stay at home, attend every virtual lesson and work hard. And remember, it is unusually brave to ask for help. It is unusually brave to finish everything and strive to achieve. Make sure when you're working that you keep a window open so that plenty of fresh air can circulate. Wash your hands or use hand sanitizer regularly. And if you do need to head out, please make sure you are keeping a 2-meter distance from others and always wearing a face covering. We hope you stay safe and we hope you have enjoyed today's assembly. Thank you very much for watching.